It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Hello, and thanks for sitting down with us. This is our 6th episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast, and I'm one of your hosts, Mason Schmidt, here with my good friend Corey Knudsen.
Heyo.
As we get ready to talk about all things movies, tonight, as usual, we'll be discussing various topics, including what films we've seen lately, what movies are on the horizon, a little update on some physical media releases, and some current developments in the world of movies. But first, Corey, how hungover are you, and what are we drinking today?
Man, we stayed up until like 5 or 6 a.m. last night, drinking whiskey and beer and playing Black Ops Zombies on a projector.
On a PS3.
On a PS3. That's the most updated gaming system I have. So, for some reason. So we did that, and then this morning got up and watched the Vikings, and
This is the most hungover I think I've been in my life, actually.
my eyes hurt.
I only had like 8 beers, six to 8, somewhere in there, 6, 7, or 8. One of those 3 numbers.
This is great. I only had 8 beers.
It's a slow night.
And I only finished a bottle of whiskey, so, you know, it's whatever.
My head is just rocking.
It's pounding. But anyways, I guess just because we need to drink more. I already opened this before because we did an earlier take of this, and we couldn't stop laughing. So we're drinking Farm Girl, which is made by Liftbridge Brewing out of Stillwater. It's a golden ale, and it's got a fucking orange peel in there?
Supposedly, it says.
Or like flavored with an orange peel. It's good. It's really good.
This might be, of the new things we've tried on our podcast, this might be my favorite. This is so good.
Yeah, this is really solid.
They are dangerous.
Yeah, really enjoying it. So we're gonna be slowly drinking those as we kind of go through this low energy.
Yeah, trying to nurse ourselves back to health.
Yeah, but it was fun though. It was a good time. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get into what you're all here to listen to, which is what we've seen lately this week. So on Monday, I saw Moana 2. It's a fine movie. It's nice.
Sorry, Moana 2. Sorry.
That was good. Good timing. No, so I saw Moana 2. I love the first movie. That movie is very nostalgic. I like just thinking back to like high school. I think it was junior year when that came out.
Yeah.
And you know the songs were so big and very popular movie. I really like it. And the sequel's fine. It's a decent follow-up to that movie. I don't think it in any way exceeds the original in the story, in the songs, and just the overall quality of the movie. I think that the songs in Moana 2 are pretty good. Like there's a villain song, and then kind of the How Far I'll Go song of this movie called Beyond.
Yeah.
Also pretty good, but just pales in comparison to the first movie. And it just feels a little bit disjointed too, because this movie was originally made for Disney Plus as a series, and then they decided that they wanted to transition it into a movie. And you can feel that in some places, like the middle act of this movie feels a little bit like a TV show.
Is it kind of like episodic then? Like, or at least in the structure, does it feel? Okay.
A little bit. I mean, there is like a cohesive story, but it's not, I don't know, it's not as interesting as the first movie, I wouldn't say. And the villains of the movie are very underdeveloped and kind of weak, and one of them gets forgotten until a mid-credits scene, and so it just feels kind of disjointed all around, but it's still an enjoyable movie, though.
It's making bank at the box office,
yeah,
too.
It's killing it, which it's great to see. I love that that movie and Gladiator 2 and Wicked are doing well over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Did the mid-credit or whatever post-credit scene there is, does that kind of lead into anything? Do you think that they're potentially trying to set up a third? You're kind of nodding.
Yeah, it kind of sets up something with some of the villains in the movie, so there could be room for a third one, or I guess if they want to go the TV route, do something else with that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I gave this movie like a B- when I reviewed it, so it's a fine watch if you have kids. I mean, I think they'll really enjoy it, especially if they like the first movie. But it's not. It doesn't touch any of some of the other animated movies from this year, like Inside Out 2, Wild Robot, Transformers 1. Those are just a lot better and have a little bit more depth to them.
Yeah, I still haven't caught the movie yet. Me and my wife have thought about it, and we're probably just honestly gonna wait till Disney Plus whenever it comes out. Because I originally was like I was trepidatious about it. I didn't need a sequel. I don't think a lot of people were like, well, actually, I don't know. It's done really well, so clearly there's an audience. But for me, I didn't really didn't think it was necessary. Sure, they're going to make one because the movie made a great amount of money and it's super popular and it's a very great original film. But I don't know. I'll wait. Is Alan Tudyk good as Hey Hey?
Just does the same
I
clucking
love it.
shit.
I fucking love it.
You like Hey Hey?
I like this design of that stupid ass chicken. It's so funny.
Big
to me.
ass eyes.
Yep. Oh,
He's
looks like my
along
brother
for-
Tyler,
He...
which I think he listens to this, so I can't wait to talk to him.
Hey Tyler, you look
Hey,
like
Tyler.
a fucking chicken from Moana.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I was able to catch up on a film that I thought was kind of out of release, at least near us now. I know it was a limited release before it comes out on, I believe, Max later this month. But I got to catch Juror number 2, which is directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Nicholas Hoult, Toni Collette, J.K. Simmons, Chris Messina. I'll read the synopsis here. While serving as a juror in a high-profile murder trial, a family man finds himself struggling with a serious moral dilemma, one he could use to sway the jury verdict and potentially convict or free the wrong killer. It's, for being a Clint Eastwood movie, which sounds like I'm already kind of dragging him through the mud, but of his recent works, he hasn't really impressed me. This is easily, I think, his best film since... it's a toss-up between this and American Sniper, but I think it's his most interesting film since Gran Torino. And it's very well paced. There's a lot of good suspense and tension. Nicholas Hoult, who isn't typically my favorite actor in the world, actually gives a fantastic performance here. The entire cast is phenomenal. J.K. Simmons plays a little bit of I believe a retired detective who is another juror on this panel. And he gives a really good side to his character, and he has like this Midwestern-ism to him. I really enjoyed him in the film. Toni Collette's always phenomenal. This felt like his most moving movie. It like not only in like emotional impact, but the movie moves. Like it doesn't like sway. It doesn't take too much time. It does have a couple of scenes that feel a little bit too expositional at times, or feels like it over-explains some things that don't need to necessarily be explained, but it's so well paced. The cast works great. It didn't like wow me necessarily. I really heard a lot of huge praise for this film, and I was really excited for it. Not to be like I'm let down by it in any means, but it didn't knock me out. I really enjoyed it, and it was a really strong showing. And the fact that Clint Eastwood made this into his 90s is insane to me. I'm just like seeing the set photos of him with like Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette, and I'm like, dude, you need how? Like, I don't want to say anything too insulting about Clint Eastwood because like clearly he can still make good films, but it's like, dude, you're gonna die on set one of these days. Oh my god,
there, man.
Yeah, Corey, Juror number 2. What are your plans in terms of watching it? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it. I love a good courtroom drama. And Clint Eastwood, like you said, it's in recent years, it's been a little hit or miss. I really like Richard Jewell. I think that movie's pretty underrated. But then you have stuff like The Mule, which
Cry Macho.
Yeah, like American Sniper I really like. So, a little hit or miss, but yeah, I definitely want to check it out. So I'll probably just watch it on HBO when it drops on there. Just because I don't even know if it's shown in that theater anymore.
I don't know. I was surprised. I was just randomly looking because I'm like, I just need to go see a movie. I didn't really want to see Moana 2. I'm like, I could go see Blitz or something else this week, and then I was like, oh shit, it's showing. Damn, all right. And I bought a ticket. I was one of like 2 people in the theater, so I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, great movie. Highly recommend. It will likely be streaming out later this month, I think, on Max. So catch it then if you miss it in theaters. But it is definitely worth your time, especially if you're a fan of Clint Eastwood or any of the amazing cast in this film. But yeah, great movie. Genuinely pretty happy with how Clint Eastwood is kind of shaping up, which I know he's even kind of talked about potentially making another film. I'm like, dude.
Every year he says he's going to be done.
Yeah, but then he's like, I got something going.
I got another one in me.
All right,
like,
well,
we'll see.
You got like 10 minutes left in you, dude.
Sure, yeah. I'm sure next year he'll have something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to check that one out. Speaking of Blitz, which you mentioned, I caught up on that this week. It is on Apple TV Plus now. And it's directed by Steve McQueen. And essentially, it is about during World War II, group of Londoners who are trying to evacuate and survive during the German Blitzkrieg bombing. So, yeah, it stars Saoirse Ronan. Harris Dickinson's in there. He's very underused in the movie because I like Harris Dickinson. I think he's a good actor. But it's I think this movie's good. again, I think I gave this movie like a B minus kind of range. I love movies based on true stories, and especially about World War II. So I always will probably enjoy those movies more than most people. This movie, though, it's a little surface level. It doesn't quite commit to any one of its like themes or stories that it's trying to tell. It kind of feels like it's taking a very broad approach to everything, and I never felt like I got to know the characters that well, where I really connected with them. And then a lot of the, different things they're tackling about, like, racial disparity during the 40s and, like, during the war especially. And then, like, women working in a munitions factory, and then a mom trying to evacuate her son, and then the son trying to find his way back home. There's just a lot that this movie's trying to tackle, and it doesn't really commit to one thing. So it's a lot of things that are, like, good, but it doesn't connect in a very satisfying way, I don't think. However, Steve McQueen is a good director, and he definitely has a great visual style, and in this movie especially, there's some very, like, haunting and terrifying visuals as far as, like, when the bombs are being dropped on the city and where people are at when the bombs are being dropped. And it's really, very haunting when you see it in the movie. So there's moments that are very impactful, and that's kind of how I would summarize the movie as a whole. Is just there's elements to it that are good, but it didn't quite hit. It's not quite the big Oscar contender that I thought it would be. Just kind of seeing the concept and the director and the cast, I was like, oh, I think this movie's be Best Picture nominated, all that. But it's very okay. If you enjoy World War II movies and just kind of learning a little bit more about this time period and what went on, I think it's worth a watch. But it's definitely not something that you have to rush out and see right away.
Blitz isn't anything, like, I saw the posters, I didn't really know much about the film, and I was like, I don't even know what the story is, I don't know if I'm interested. I like Saoirse Ronan. Harris Dickinson, which he's in Triangle of Sadness, and that, we were talking before we recorded, that is one of the funniest, he's part of one of the funniest movies to me, in that movie with the cleaning cart on the fucking boat. As they're getting tossed, and everyone's throwing up, the captain's gone AWOL, the ship's rocking, and this cleaning cart is just repeatedly slinging and slamming back into the wall on the boat. And they cut to it so many times, and it's so funny. But that was my first, I think, moment where I was like, oh, Harris Dickinson, like, damn, okay. I recognized him in that movie, and then later on, that amazing piece of comedy is within that movie. But I don't have much exposure to Harris Dickinson other than that. I don't know if I'm really rushing to go see this. This is kind of a pretty average week for movies, I feel like. Looking at the movies that we've talked about so far with Juror number 2, Moana 2, now you talking with Blitz, the ratings we gave all these movies, which Moana 2, well, B minus, you said. Juror number 2, I gave a B plus. Blitz was what?
Like a B minus.
B minus. And then our next movie, The Return, which I saw last night, I'm also probably going to give it, I think I gave it a B minus. It is, The Return, if you don't know, it's directed by Uberto Pasolini, the director of The Full Monty and Nowhere Special. It stars Ralph Fiennes, even though it's spelled fucking Ralph. Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Binoche, and Charlie Plummer. It's basically the last leg of Homer's The Odyssey. After 20 years, Odysseus returns to Ithaca, where he finds his wife held prisoner by suitors, vying to be king, and his son facing death. To win back his family and all he has lost, Odysseus must rediscover his strength. I love Homer's The Odyssey. I read the Odyssey and I read the Iliad both in college. Odyssey is what I prefer. It's such a great story, and it's a good, just a man on a mission going through trials and tribulations and trying to get back home. I was pretty excited to see this movie, especially with the cast. It's 2 hours. It felt like maybe 240. It was such a slog. And it's the last bit of the Odyssey. It doesn't cover all of the build-up or all of the specific trials he faces and stuff and traveling. It's just him. It starts with him shipwrecked, naked, laying on this beach. Got to see some Ralph Fiennes' penis in this movie. Did not know about that. Anyway, but he's shipwrecked, laying ass naked on this beach, and it just goes from there, which is fine. I'm actually really excited because there's a lot of good drama to be had with him finally coming home after 20 years and his family being like, or his son never having met him, and his wife holding on faith that he's still out there, still alive, but everyone around her is like, no, he's dead. Like, you got to move on. You got to move forward with Ithaca and be a good queen and take a new king. But wow, they really pad for fucking runtime on this. Every scene feels slow. The performances are really good, but anytime Ralph Fiennes really has to give dialogue, it's just one word, pause, turn, one word, two words, pause, turn, look up, pause, one word. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. And I don't know. I think this movie could have been great. And I kind of went in with an expectation that it'd be better than this. I think the director was the wrong guy for the job, apparently, because I can't get behind what his vision was for this story. It does, like, I get the idea of slowly building up to his return and having a big, like, moment there, but even that moment's pretty anticlimactic. And all the fights are, which Odysseus is this, like, he's a warrior, and he's known for fighting and his capability with weaponry. And every fight he's in just looks clumsy, and the choreography is so lacking. It's just step to the side, stab a guy, step to the side, stab a guy. And it's like, okay, what the fuck is this? Like, and then they'll all look at him like, wow, you are a trained warrior. It's like, he literally took one step to the left and then stabbed. He shanked a bitch. Like, there's no skill in what he's doing.
Like, I've seen enough.
Yeah,
this guy's Odysseus.
This is Odysseus. But I don't know. I'm kind of harping on it a little bit more than I intended to. I had a decent enough time. I wish this movie was an hour 20. If they're gonna tell this portion of the Odyssey and only this portion, I think you could do it probably in an hour and 20, hour and 30. Yeah, I think the visuals of it too. It's a big epic, this Odyssey, and it's so flat visually. And it looks like it's just a TV drama. Like, it doesn't look like anything spectacular. There's no spectacle to this, which it is his return home, this last part. So there's not a whole lot, I guess you could argue it's the smaller part of his story. But still, there's no spectacle to this Greek epic. Like, I don't know. I don't know who I'd recommend this to. It's a pretty... If you've read the Odyssey and you're interested at least somewhat in the cast and want to see an adaptation of a portion of the Odyssey, go for it. I left a little underwhelmed by it, I guess. A good enough time. Like, I'm not too pissed that I went and saw this in theaters. I think it easily could have been better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't, like, super thrilled by the trailers. I saw it a few times, the trailer a lot of times in theaters, and I wasn't super intrigued by it. And just kind of hearing your review, I'm like, I don't know if I need to check this out right away. Maybe down the road I will, but yeah, not a urgent one for me to check out right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe just skip it. I don't know. You read my review and just take it at face value. It's fine. But anyway, aside from The Return and from Juror number 2, I did a couple of rewatches this week as we are kind of getting more into that Christmas season. Allie and I did a couple of rewatches. We watched Elf, which is a holiday film that I don't love as much as most people. I do like, and I think it's really charming. It's a movie that my family watched a lot growing up, so it's honestly a lot of the movies committed to memory, whether I like it or not. But yeah, it's an enjoyable enough film. I know Corey doesn't like that movie as much as most people.
We actually recorded a Christmas, like, top Christmas movies, or just a discussion of Christmas movies this morning.
That will release later this week.
Yeah. And I just, like I said in there, like, I just don't think this movie's funny or good. I don't know. I didn't grow up watching it, and I watched it kind of later in life, like late high school, I think. So I just never connected with it. It's not my go-to Christmas movie.
Yeah. I then went on to Jingle All the Way, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies, and it's just perfect to me. And there's so many errors and issues you could say you have with this movie, and I'm just gonna nod at you and say you're right, but this movie's perfect. Like, it doesn't matter. I fucking love this movie. Sinbad's great, Arnold Schwarzenegger's great, Rita Wilson's great, Phil Hartman is fantastic as just this fucking schmoozy neighbor that's trying to get with all the single women, even the married women, and he's just like, yeah, I'll come over and fix your front porch. It's like, you're doing shit, like, behind the scenes. Yeah. And it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger giving a deer fucking beer, and Sinbad just being crazy and blowing up part of a building in St. Paul, and
Turbo Man doll.
It's so much fun. If you haven't heard of this movie, what's going on? If you haven't watched this movie, watch it now. I think it's so great. Corey, are there any rewatches from this week that you got to catch up on?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this. I said this before we even recorded. But I watched Despicable Me 4.
Are you gonna write a really big review on this movie?
No, I don't even care enough. The only reason I watch is because I've seen all the other ones, and unfortunately the other Minions movies too. And I don't. This movie's bad. It sucks. I don't like it. It's a D-. I don't even.
Is it worse than Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire?
I don't know. They're probably about the same.
Okay.
Maybe it's a little worse.
Damn. Okay. Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not like. It's not awful. Maybe I was in a bad mood when I watched it. I don't know why.
I mean, I didn't hear anything good about it.
No, I don't think anybody's like clamoring, being like, this movie's fucking amazing. It's just very, very weird movie. Just a lot of weird subplots going on, and I didn't like it. And it's almost an F, but it's a D-.
It's almost an F.
But I just felt bad, so I was just like, I guess D-. So
right.
That's it. I don't even want to linger on that. But I also started watching Skeleton Crew, which is the newest Star Wars series being run by John Watts. And essentially it's this group of kids that are kind of get pulled into this adventure with pirates and, I don't know, other pirate shit that they're doing in space.
Mm-hmm. Sell me on this.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
You're really just fucking hyping
probably
this down.
Tell from my tone that I the first 2 episodes are like, okay. I just don't love watching like child actors deliver bad dialogue.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable for me. The opening scene of the show is really cool. And like I think a pirate show in Star Wars is really sweet. It's kind of what I wanted like when The Mandalorian came about, of just being a bounty hunter show for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that was really sweet. And I hope that this show can kind of get to being like pirate, swashbuckling like Star Wars stuff. That'd be fun. But a lot of time has been spent with kids in school taking tests and just doing things that I don't care about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just Star Wars shows have, besides like first 2 seasons of Mando, Ahsoka, and Andor, I'm kind of low on a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, me too. I haven't watched it quite yet. I probably will likely start, which is, I've heard so many good things from every reviewer I watch, just all around I'm hearing good things, and then I wanted to talk with you specifically about it because you and I tend to align more with a lot of these, at least these Star Wars Disney Plus shows, where I'm like, wow, everyone's really loving this one. They didn't like The Acolyte, which you also didn't like The Acolyte, so I'm like, okay, well, you lined up on that one, and then everyone's just, I feel like, really positive about this show, and then to hear from you, like, that's fine. I'm like, see, that's, when I heard the huge reaction to it, I'm like, I still think it's probably going to just be okay. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's an issue of my expectations or, like, I need to write what I'm going into hoping for, but I'm not terribly excited. I will probably look to catch up on this one. I didn't watch The Acolyte, nor do I have any desire to, but I don't think I'm going to fully skip out on Skeleton Crew. I'm at least going to give it a chance.
Right on.
But this week also was the launch of the new DCU projects by James Gunn. This was the first, like, wholly original one. Obviously, Peacemaker is still a part of the DCU, and his Suicide Squad. But Creature Commandos came out on HBO Max, and they started with a 2-episode debut. I only caught the first episode. I know you caught both, but so far I'm into it. I'm sold. I like the animation. I always thought that this was kind of like a weird choice for his like first initial project in the DCU as like a jumping off point, even with the other stuff being prior established. But it works so well. It's kind of like a pseudo sequel to Suicide Squad. At least this first episode feels like that to me. Where it's, hey, Amanda Waller she needs to have a crew together, but she can't have humans because everyone's pissed about Corto Maltese and all these people being put to death, basically. So
Starfish.
Yeah, and Project Starfish, and they can only use creatures. And thank God Weasel's there because he's not a human. And God, his bug eyes are fucking awesome.
Funniest character I've seen in probably the past 10 years.
Yeah, just him licking himself with his big ass eyes.
Him not being able to swim in the Suicide Squad in the movie.
One of the biggest laughs I had in the movie.
We checked if he could swim.
He's just flailing. But yeah, so like I said, I only saw the first episode. I got the setup of Frankenstein being like, my bride's back. So I don't know where that necessarily goes. I'll probably watch that episode later on tonight. Corey, how do you feel about the second episode, I guess?
Yeah, I really like the show. And I kind of forgot that it was coming out. We didn't even mention it last week. We totally spaced that out. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good little connective tissue from the old DC EU, I guess, and into the new DC universe that James Gunn and Peter Safran are doing. And yeah, I think it's really fun. I think doing it in animation is a smart move, just because there's a character, Dr. Phosphorus, which is like kind of a like skeleton with like flames coming out of him,
Radiation and shit.
yeah, which will like look kind of weird in live action. So I appreciate that they're doing animated stuff.
That it just feels like it's a very smart move. I think now looking back at it, as it's a good way to reincorporate some of these characters that are carried over from the DCU. Like you have like the Rick Flag Jr., even though he's not necessarily in this, but his family is, his dad is. And Peacemaker, Amanda Waller, like it's a good way to incorporate these kind of lesser, high-profile characters like your Superman and your Batman, and slowly establish this world, and then hit us with a new Superman. I'm like, oh, like I get this now. I think that this is a really great move, and I'm excited to watch that second episode. And for these oncoming weeks, I'll probably keep up on it. I'm actually usually with Disney Plus Star Wars stuff, Disney Plus Marvel stuff, I will get pissed when I see the runtime is like 30 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck? We're going to have 8 minutes of end credits, so I'm getting a 22-minute episode of live-action TV. Luckily, with animation, it's a little bit different. It moves quicker, and when I saw that Creature Commandos is 23 minutes, I was like, oh, fuck
Perfect.
yeah. Awesome.
Perfect.
It's such an easy watch. It's fun. I like the banter already between this new crew, so I'm excited. I'm stoked to keep up on it. And I recommend it to anyone who hasn't started watching it, because I feel like it is kind of like a lesser known or lesser talked about project that's coming out.
Yeah, definitely a fun watch. It's got the good James Gunn touch on there. Yeah, so that's kind of all the stuff we watched this week. Getting into new releases for this upcoming weekend. One of the things that's coming out is Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, which is directed by Kenji Kamiyama. I may have mispronounced that, but I tried my best.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. But this is an animated movie, more specifically an anime film. And essentially, it is about takes place before all the Lord of the Rings films, and it's about the King of Rohan and his people taking a last stand against the ancient stronghold of the Hornburg. I don't know what that is. I'm not as well versed in like.
I'm not well versed in.
I haven't read the
Middle
books.
Earth.
I've read The Hobbit, and I love that book, but I haven't read the Lord of the Rings books. However, I do love the Lord of the Rings movies. That's my favorite trilogy of all time, and I actually enjoy the first two Hobbit movies more than most, probably.
Yeah.
I think we both do a little bit.
I think we align on that.
Yeah. This is one that I'm like, I'm not a big anime fan, and I think you kind of feel the same way. Like, we don't watch a lot of anime stuff, but I like Lord of the Rings a lot, so I probably will see it just to learn more about the story, because like I said, I don't know much about it. Yeah, I don't know. How you feeling about this one?
I'm a little torn. I wasn't excited for it at all. I haven't watched any of the trailers. I think I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see it in theaters. I'm gonna go in as blind as I possibly can. I'm not a big anime fan, kind of like what you said. There are a couple of anime films like Akira and Ghost in the Shell that really work for me. They're some of my favorite animated films I've ever seen. So anime can work for me. It's just it's not my typical like choice for animation style. I really love the first those three Lord of the Rings movies. Two Towers and Fellowship are two of my, like, those movies are perfect, and those were so frequently watched in my home growing up. Return of the King, I actually am a little bit, I like it, it's fine. And like what you said, you and I both appreciate, I think, the first two Hobbit films more than most. Battle of the Five Armies is kind of wonky and kind of shit, but still like a fun enough watch, but not great. I know nothing about the story. Again, like I said, not really my typical style for what I want to see in terms of animation, but I'll probably see it. I am pretty excited. I've been keeping up with the YouTube channel Caravan, or Mr. Sunday Movies, and like Caravan of Garbage, and they've been doing like their videos for the Lord of the Rings, and it's kind of getting me in that time of like, all right, Lord of the Rings, a new project, which I'm really excited to see something new with Lord of the Rings. I wish it might have been like a live action, maybe. I don't know if they would have greenlit this movie if there was live action with like a big budget, but I don't know. I'm excited enough. I didn't know Brian Cox was in this, so at least there's something that I can kind of cling on to. Like, oh, I know you. You are a known person. Like, this is the only thing I know about this movie. But yeah, I'm excited enough. I'll definitely try and catch it in theaters. But there is a movie that I do have to say coming out this upcoming week that will definitely get my quick, easy money as fast as possible, and that's Kraven the Hunter.
Let's go.
Which I need to preface this with saying, I don't think that this movie is going to be great. I think it has the potential to be okay. I don't even know if it'll be good. Kraven the Hunter, directed by J.C. Chandor, which J.C. Chandor is the reason why I'm thinking that this movie has the potential to be at least okay. Because he is a phenomenal director. He directed All Is Lost and A Most Violent Year. A Most Violent Year, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. That is the most beautifully color-graded film I think I've ever seen, with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. But anyway, Kraven the Hunter stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is fucking shredded in this movie.
You got ripped.
Dude is insane. And then you got Russell Crowe playing his father and Ariana DeBose. Synopsis: does it really fucking matter? I'm not going to read that. It's
Kraven doing shit.
Doing shit. There's animals involved. If you watch the trailer, there's a fucking rhino, like an actual rhino, a dude that gets shot up and has like the gray hard skin of rhino in the comics. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is like quintessential 5 beers deep, let's go to a movie.
I think we're planning on seeing this together and getting some drinks beforehand.
That's like a requirement. That's a prereq for this movie. You need to have a drink or two in you.
For sure. I mean, we saw Venom: The Last Dance and did the same thing. So, like, I think this will follow suit.
I think you kind of have a hot take about this movie, though.
I think this movie is going to be the best Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Spider... I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, no.
Spunk.
Yeah, there it is. Nice.
Nice. Oh, shit. Ghost stuck to my ear.
And... yeah, I think this is going to be the best of those movies, which doesn't say much because I think the best of those is like Venom.
Yeah.
So is it really that much to like be better than that movie? But I don't know. I think this looks more fun than like Madam Web and Morbius. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. It's just the character is cooler and I think it could be fun, and you know, Russell Crowe's in it. He's
So it really just comes down to, can J.C. Chandor direct a better film than Ruben Fleischer?
You know, that's the question, I suppose. Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think that this movie is going to be so fucking stupid, and I'm so excited.
Sure. Yeah, I'm
cannot
wait.
So excited.
Cannot wait for a post-credit scene that somehow connects it to the MCU.
Vulture's back.
Yeah.
Morbius is back. Fucking
Andrew
Dakota
Garfield's
Johnson
back.
has a visor again.
Yeah, Jared Leto's back.
Oh god, I love it.
Yeah, so we will more than likely have a review of this next week. You know, maybe fresh out of the theater, just coming
That'd
out
be good.
and talking about what we think will be one of the best movies of the year, for sure.
Sure.
But speaking of a movie that actually I think could be one of the best movies of the year is September 5th. It's coming out, I believe, in limited release this week and then expanding out a little bit more. This is a movie directed by Tim Fellbaum, who I'm not too familiar with his other work. He's in a couple other movies. But this takes place during the 1972 Munich Olympics, when an American sports broadcasting crew finds itself thrust into covering the hostage crisis involving Israeli athletes. It stars Peter Sarsgaard and John Magaro, amongst others. But I have heard nothing but great things about this movie. And, like, I work in a newsroom. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but so it's just kind of cool to, like, see a movie about that and just knowing some of the ins of the industry. It's kind of interesting to see that as well. And I love, like I said, I like movies about history, so just kind of learning about this event, which I'm not too familiar with, actually. I think it'll be really interesting, and I think this could be something that pops up in the Oscar race as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of films that are based around journalists or journalism in general. All the President's Men, Spotlight especially, and even like Civil War, like wartime photographers, stuff like that. And you have brought this movie up a number of times before, and I have never seen a trailer. I'd never seen a poster. You would every time tell me what this movie was about, and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Finally, when I saw The Return, maybe this was like the best part of going to see The Return in theaters, is I got to see this trailer loaded at the front of it. And I was like, oh shit, like this must be the September 5th movie. September 5, because no TH on this one. September 5 movie.
Yeah, fuck that.
Regardless, the movie looks awesome, and the trailer sold it. There's some just bone-chilling moments, even in the trailer alone, of just like, wait a minute, are they watching our broadcast? Like, these terrorists, are they watching what we're broadcasting of them? Like, I don't know. I think it's going to be a really cool movie. I think it could be pretty emotional. I like kind of like the almost like war room that they have, at least what they established in the trailer of them just like how do we handle this, like, and them just trying to figure out solutions. I think that it could be a very, very good film. I'm excited to watch it. I will hopefully try and catch that this week. I don't know, we kind of got to, compared to last week, we got more stuff releasing this week that I'm like, all right, I'm interested in kind of all of these, except for, not that I'm not interested in this, I don't know if I've ever really heard of this movie, The Nickel Boys, just Nickel Boys, directed by Ramel Ross, starring Ethan Harris. How do you feel about that one?
Is
it Harris?
For everyone listening, it's spelled like the last name is Herisse. Harisse. I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Harisse?
really
we'll say
familiar
Ethan
with
Harisse.
him. Yeah.
Brandon Wilson.
And Anjanou Ellis Taylor. She was in King Richard. She was Will Smith's wife in.
Oh,
in
no
that film.
shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy that you took that name because I looked at that just blankly, like, I don't know how to pronounce that, and I don't want to be just an asshole on the internet just butchering a woman's name.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, but the film chronicles the powerful friendship between two young African-American men navigating the harrowing trials of reform together in Florida. I know nothing of this film. I've only loosely heard things from you about it. So, Corey, what is kind of your anticipation for this? I know there's potentially awards buzz surrounding this film, too.
Yeah. This is another one that we'll actually touch on it in some of the movie news of it being in the awards conversation. I've heard the filmmaking in this movie is really unique and interesting. So, besides that synopsis, I don't know much about this movie, but I'm definitely curious to see it. I don't know if it'll be in wide release. It may be kind of like September 5th, where it's limited and then kind of branches out, gets a more big release as it goes on. But definitely one I am curious about checking out, though.
All right. Well, moving off from those new movies coming up this upcoming week, we got a little bit of a physical media roundup. Movies that we've purchased lately. I thankfully finally picked up a Blu-ray of Bike Riders because that is a film that I very much enjoyed from this year. I got a new Blu-ray of Jingle All the Way. I mentioned I rewatched that earlier this week on one of my old Blu-rays, and it started skipping, and I was like, well, this shit, that's just not going to fly. So I bought and ordered a new copy of Jingle All the Way on Blu-ray, and then I also picked up kind of an underrated film from the past couple of years, The Outfit, on Blu-ray. I love Mark Rylance, and I think that movie, you and I watched that movie together, it's such a good, contained, just in one location, just thriller. And it really worked for me, so I was really I completely spaced on it. I was looking at my collection one day, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have, my O, section of my thing is, maybe 6 movies. I'm like, maybe I add more to that, so I ordered The Outfit, so I'm excited for that. I think that's coming early this upcoming week. Corey, what did you get this week?
So little update, I think I mentioned it a few weeks back that I got the Air Force One 4K Steelbook. I'd ordered that on Walmart from during their Black Friday sales, and when it came in the mail, it had a big fucking scratch across the whole thing. So I
scratch my CD.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, I messaged the people and I was like, hey, can I just get a new one? So I finally got a new copy of that in the mail, and very happy to own that now. But I kind of had an expensive week of buying movies. I went to Walmart. And my intention was to get the 4 Disney Plus Steelbooks that came out, and they only had Ahsoka and The Mandalorian Season 3, which I'm very grateful to have found those, but they didn't have Loki Season 2 or Hawkeye. But the artwork on those is so good, and for all those Steelbooks, it's been amazing, and I really, really appreciate that they're putting those out. Those were $50 each.
Big day.
Yeah, and then when I was there, I didn't even plan on getting this, but I saw the 4K Steelbook for A Quiet Place Day 1, which I really like. I think all 3 Quiet Place movies are really, really good. Mm-hmm. And it was the only copy left, and I hadn't seen that Steelbook in stores before, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy it, and that was another $35, so good old $140, $150 day after taxes. Yeah, so that's fun.
That's a rough one. Going and buying such great things and you have no discount. It's just I'm getting these.
I need to. Yeah. But it's the fun of it. I haven't bought a ton of stuff lately, so it was fun.
Yeah, a little therapy day.
Yeah.
But what releases this upcoming week, this Tuesday, I believe December 10th, is a No Country for Old Men Criterion 4K. We got a new TED 4K as well as an 8.5 Criterion 4K, the film 8.5, not like a measurement. Just wanted to specify. I read that kind of weird. Anyway, nothing like too big in terms of new movies releasing that I could find. Just a bunch of re-releases, but of 3 different films that are interesting. I love Ted. I think Ted is so funny.
Hilarious.
The TV show too has
So
no business
good.
being as good as it is too. It is so funny. No Country for Old Men is one of my favorite Coen Brothers films. I have owned the 8.5 Criterion Blu-ray for I think a little over a year and a half, and I still haven't watched it. TBD on that one. We'll see if I watch it eventually. I don't know. I'm excited to watch it, but I just never am in the mood to watch a 2+ hour movie with subtitles, which like I will watch it. I like subtitles. It's just sometimes it's harder to get more in that mood. But yeah, kind of a little bit of a slower week, but still some good re-releases coming out. In stores.
It's kind of that every other week thing
Yeah.
that we've talked about. But I actually might pick up No Country for Old Men. I don't own that movie, so that could be good to get
It's
that
a
on.
cool Criterion too.
Yeah, really cool artwork on there, so I'm excited to pick that up down the road. Okay, moving into some movie news. Like I mentioned before, awards season is in full swing. The kind of first big awards show that happens and really gets me excited is the Gotham Awards. I think it was Monday or Tuesday the awards ceremony happened. And just to kind of highlight a few of the winners here, I won't go through all of them, but Best Feature was A Different Man. Best Actor was Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. Supporting Actor was Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing. Best Director was Ramel Ross from Nickel Boys, which we talked about earlier. And then Best Screenplay was His Three Daughters. So just kind of at least for me, the Gotham Awards are always a great kind of checklist of some movies that I need to maybe check out. Yeah, to see for the year. So that was kind of the first big one. And then we had a few other ones, which I'll just kind of run through. The AFI Top 10 Movies of the Year, which was Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune 2, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, A Real Pain, Sing Sing, and Wicked. And then the National Board of Review also, they had a lot of awards. Again, I won't list out all of those, but they named Wicked as the Best Picture of the Year. And then they also have a separate Top 10 Movies of the Year. And those were Anora, Baby Girl, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Furiosa, which I love seeing that pop up.
That's crazy to see that get a spot.
Yeah, Gladiator 2, Juror number 2, Queer, A Real Pain, and Sing Sing. And then the last one I was going to mention here is the European Film Awards, where Amelia Perez won a bunch of awards. It got picture, director, actress, screenplay, editing. So kind of a, like I said, a little checklist of movies that, we've seen a good amount of these, but still some that either haven't come out yet or just ones we need to catch up on that I'm really excited to see as we get closer to the Oscars here.
Yeah, the Gotham Awards giving Best Feature to A Different Man. A Different Man was a movie I was like, all right, I'm like loosely interested in this. Like, I don't know if I necessarily want to see it or needed to see it in theaters, but now it getting kind of this accolade from the Gotham Awards is kind of surprising to me. I heard Sebastian Stan was amazing in the film, so I'm like, all right, well, maybe I do need to end up checking this one out. So that might be getting added to the list of homework, I guess, for me, as well as Nickel Boys with all of its accolades that it's rolling in right now. I knew I needed to see Amelia Perez. I still need to make it out to that. I am a little peeved that A Complete Unknown is turning out to be a really good movie. Not that I don't want it to be good. It's just I'm tired of musical biopics. I don't need it. They all feel the same. But I will say also when I saw The Return, they showed September 5 trailer and they showed A Complete Unknown, which I've seen this trailer before. And this time I felt it kind of working on me, and I'm like, fuck, do I want to go see this? That and Timothée Chalamet was just in Minneapolis.
Yeah. It was really cool. Like I said earlier, I work for the news, and we actually sent a photographer out to the main theater, which is one of our favorite theaters to go to,
yeah.
and he was there for a screening of the movie, signing stuff for fans, answering questions, and so we got video of him there, and he just seemed like a really cool dude. And it was just great to have him in Minneapolis, and he was just walking around Dinkytown, U of M campus, which is really cool. So
and we don't, at least in Minnesota, we don't hear a lot about actors or celebrities at least coming to Minnesota. Sure, it happens, but it's never something publicized that you hear about, and it's a big event. That and Timothée Chalamet can pull just a swarm of people.
Oh yeah,
too. It was kind of busy in that area, and in Dinkytown and stuff. So I was like, wow, this is really cool and kind of refreshing just to see a celebrity. We have a celebrity again now down in Minnesota. I'm also not I think I'm just gonna put my fucking flag right down and say I'm not seeing Baby Girl. I can't, and this, I don't mean to sound too, fuck it. If it sounds mean, it's mean. I don't need to look at Nicole Kidman that long. I can't look at Nicole Kidman that long. That AMC ad is dog shit, but it's funny, but it's dog shit. I can't look at that woman's face for too long before I get upset. Okay? And you can tell me I'm an asshole for this take, but it looks so doctored. It looks so fake and just plastic, and I don't care about this movie. I'm a little, good that it's doing great. I think that might be my one, you know what, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not seeing that movie this year. Just because the trailer doesn't work for me. I don't care about that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. A Complete Unknown, I think I will end up folding and probably seeing in theaters. Because I do love Bob Dylan. A Real Pain, I'm happy to see that. Sing Sing was a movie from earlier this year that I was really worried was going to get kind of lost in the shuffle, and seeing Coleman Domingo get some flowers for his work is great. Also, that Furiosa Mad Max pull is so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm happy Dune 2's not getting forgotten. That the movie Queer is getting some recognition. It's a movie I'm still really interested in and haven't seen yet, so it's only just adding more to my anticipation for it. Cora, are there any big kind of winners for you that you're excited about, or things that you're like, God, fucking.
I feel the same way about Baby Girl. I just like the trailers. I'm not interested in this movie. I don't need to see Nicole Kidman just banging a younger dude. I don't care. You know, I don't know. And she's getting a lot of Best Actress buzz for it, so I'm I'll probably have to see it at some point.
Yeah. I feel like I need to backpedal a little bit. I do like Nicole Kidman in some movies. She's in Killing of a Sacred Deer with Colin Farrell, and she's great in that movie. She's
in Batman Forever.
She's in Batman. Honestly, that was going to be the next one I brought up. She is awesome in Batman Forever. And she's in Eyes Wide Shut. I like her in movies, but I can't get past the way she looks now, which is mean and could be shallow, and fuck me for that, but I might skip the movie because she's in it. Fuck me. I don't know. But A Different Man, happy to go see that one too.
Yeah.
I need to catch up on that. Moving on to a little bit of it was kind of small news from this past week, but it got me really excited. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is making his return to directing, and he is set to direct an AI thriller, which that part I don't really give a shit about. But directing a thriller for T Street Productions, which is Ryan Johnson's production company, and Anne Hathaway is, I think, rumored or potentially set to star in the film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt directing, he made a film 10 years ago, Don John, that I absolutely fucking love.
The movie's great.
Yeah, I remember when that was one of the movies I'm really proud of, because I recommended that to you, and then you saw it, and you just were like, oh. I love Don John. I think I'm just excited to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He just seems like such a good dude. We talked in our Christmas movie recommendations coming out later this week. We mentioned Joseph Gordon-Levitt a couple of times for the movie the night before, but I love him. I'm really excited to see him continue directing. I kind of love his little relationship he has with Ryan Johnson. They've worked obviously on Looper and Brick. Looper being one of just an awesome sci-fi movie. But yeah, we got that, which I'm excited about, and then also another casting detail. Wyatt Russell looks like he's in talks to join Steven Spielberg's next big movie, which I love Wyatt Russell too.
Yeah,
so I'm sold on both of these kind of new. It's not casting decisions made right now. Wyatt Russell is Joseph Gordon-Levitt now coming back to directing, but I think that these are cool two cool updates in the world of movies that I'm really excited for. Corey, how do you feel about them?
Yeah, I mean, I love Don John.
Yeah.
That movie's so good. Scarlett Johansson, maybe the best she's ever looked in that movie.
Yeah.
It is insane. I would fold in a fucking instant.
If she talked to you if she looked at you for a second,
it's insane.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna go pack up and go home.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what he's doing, and I'm glad. I feel like he's in the past few years he's kind of been under the radar a little bit,
quieter,
taking a little break, which that's fine. I guess actors are people too, and they have lives, I suppose. But I just selfishly want you to make more movies.
Yeah.
But then Wyatt Russell's great. And Steven Spielberg is my favorite director of all time, so I'm always curious to see what he's doing. But yeah, moving into our movie rewind for the week. It is not something from 2017.
That was like a hard, like fast rule that we had to avoid because I think maybe 3 or 4 of the last movies we talked about have been from 2017.
Yeah. So this week we're talking about Scarface.
A fucking classic.
Yeah. The Brian De Palma one, I should clarify.
1983.
Yes, 1983, not the original Scarface, but the one that is most well known with Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's set in Miami in the 1980s, and it's a determined, criminal-minded Cuban immigrant who becomes the biggest drug smuggler in Florida and is eventually undone by his own drug addiction. Tony Montana, fly Pelican fly.
Oh.
This movie is great. It is, like, it holds up incredibly well. Al Pacino, this might be my favorite performance of his. It's
Michael
Godfather.
Corleone.
Yeah, it's up there. I said that and then I immediately remembered Godfather.
Yeah, he's a dangerous actor just because he's been in, I feel like, everything, and he's so good in everything, except for Jack and Jill.
Well.
But Scarface is like a special movie to me. I watched Scarface, I watched Goodfellas, and I watched The Godfather all within like the same month. I think it was in 2011 because Gangster Squad had just came out, which is a dog shit movie, not good. But I was like, I like the idea of like a gangster world, and I had already seen Untouchables, which is another film by Brian De Palma, which I really enjoy. So I sat down and I watched Goodfellas, and I was like, Goodfellas is good. I like Goodfellas, and I watched Scarface, like, fuck, I like this. I fuck with this hard. And then I watched Godfather, and that's been my favorite movie since I watched that movie. So. Yeah, Scarface, it's so well acted. There's so many good, just like quotable lines. There's iconic moments nonstop. Michelle Pfeiffer is really hot in this movie.
Also, yeah.
And she can tear him down too. Tony Montana is like a no bullshit, like he's gonna do what he wants. He's just a fucking dog. And Michelle Pfeiffer can just like tear into him a bit. And I'm like, damn, you got some strength there. Like that's crazy.
Love the setting in Miami too.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's one of the best like kind of crime, like gangster drug smuggling movies.
I think like the Vice aesthetic, like Miami Vice and all that stuff, has so much to like pay credit to with Scarface. Like Scarface, I feel like was the start of all that, and like that Miami I don't know. Sometimes the performance can be a little bit memeable. It's a great performance, but yeah, you get the Tony Montana. Yeah, it's I don't know. Everyone has their Tony Montana impression. I feel like, which is fine. But yeah, you can't fault Al Pacino for just being insane in this movie.
He's great.
But yeah, Brian De Palma, big fan of him as a director. Really love the first Mission Impossible film. I haven't watched Scarface, I don't think, in the last like 5 years, so maybe I try and do a rewatch of that. I think Allie would be really fucking surprised by this movie, just because she definitely has not seen this movie. This is not up her alley, but I think it'd be fun for her to have to sit down and just experience this.
Yeah, I do want to watch the original one, actually.
It was like 1930 something.
Yeah, like 20s or 30s, something like that. It's pretty early, but I think there was a Criterion that just came out recently.
Yep, for that.
So I'm kind of curious about that, and I may check that out soon.
Yeah.
Just kind of in honor of that. Of us talking about that.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Scarface, I'm sure everyone has told you that you should, and I'm not going to be much different. If you have the chance and you want to see a really cool classic movie, watch Scarface. It is a great time, and you won't be disappointed. Other than that, thanks everyone for sitting down and having some drinks with us, all 2 of you. This is our 6th episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram for more in-depth movie reviews and news, and subscribe to our podcast. In the world of film, it's not just about what happens on screen, but also about who's sitting next to you in the theater. That's a wrap.